No, we're live now. We're live here. We are live right
now.
now.
You did it yourself.
Yes, I did it.
Well done,
Oh,
okay.
there
You've
we
thrown
go.
me. Okay, all right
Yeah,
then.
you see,
Welcome
expect
again,
the
ladies and
unexpected
gentlemen.
and everything.
We're professional. There we go. We don't need an intro. This has happened before, mate. Do you remember that one on Cannon Chatter? We just sang the intro instead.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
was a good time.
Don't think we can sing it now because we get a copyright issue, and also my singing is terrible. So
we'll put a premium on the singing stream sometime soon. But ladies and gentlemen, we have returned. It is Gooner Gathering. It is me, Gooner Lee Meads, Lee, and joined by the poshest man in sports entertainment today, Posh Bertie. Sir, how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. It's been an interesting week. It's been a great week for our channel, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this video, talking about the preview for Arsenal versus Leicester, among some other things you want to discuss.
Absolutely fantastic. Do you know something, Posh? You mentioned great week for the channel. We're on the road, sir. We're on the road to 100 subscribers very, very soon on the way. If we can build that up to at the end of the stream, that would be amazing. And for a channel that's been just on the front foot, very, very, organically, very, very quickly has moved forward, doesn't it? And I don't know about you, sir, but I have a jolly good laugh doing it as well.
It's fantastic. I always love doing it, and I think, not to be arrogant, I think we deserve 100 subscribers. So people, if you're watching this and us, spread the word, spread the good name of Gooner Gathering across the world today. We need 100 subscribers. Please the algorithm and all that.
Exactly. Can you see that banner, mate? Because my phone's playing blimmin' silly games with me right now. Hence the intro.
Please, the one that says please like, share, and subscribe.
You got it. The one that should be just solid on the ticker.
It's moving across like a Sky Sports video printer.
Fantastic. Okay then. Well, we'll keep with that, and we might as well make a start, shall we? So, I suppose you know what the best place for me to start, and probably the most significant news after the last time that I've been on air, is the sad news of John Motson passing away. Motty was 77 years old, and the voice of football as I started getting to know it and getting involved and starting to really get to learn the product. Basically, he's the guy that provided commentary for some of the most iconic memories in my little brain. Worked on the BBC for 50 years and managed to commentate on more than 2,500 games. He's a figure so well respected in the game. It's just a shame that he's passed. I believe it was a cancer issue.
Right. Okay.
I think he did his last game on commentary for the BBC at Crystal Palace. I think in 2018. Obviously, he's done so many World Cups and European Championships, a run of FA Cup finals, League Cup finals. There's one in particular, and this is really early in me starting watching the Arsenal. This is the Cup double against Sheffield Wednesday, 1992-93 season. There's a couple of goals that I remember so well, and although I can't get away with putting them up here on YouTube, someone already kindly has. So I thought I'd share that and put them on our Twitter at Gooner Gathering. There's a couple where, especially the Andy Linnigan one, there's a name you're going to be thinking, who?
I've heard the name before.
Andy Linnigan, who came in and was playing centre half for us that day, and managed to get his nose broken by Mark Bright, the Sheffield Wednesday striker, managed to plough through with a broken nose to score in the 119th minute of the game in extra time. I think that still stands as the latest goal in the FA Cup ever. There's a couple more memories I can remember. Gascoigne, Euro 96 against Scotland. So David Seaman saves Gary McAllister's penalty. Very quickly gets to the other end of the field. Darren Anderton plays it to Paul Gascoigne. Flip up. See you later, Colin Hendry, and past Andy Gorham, and 2-0 to England. He was just the best at it, mate. People these days including me, have got nothing on Motti. I mean, sorry, it's just Motti in a class of his own. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any thoughts on Motti? Have you got any favourite goals you can remember from him?
No, I remember listening to his commentary on Match of the Day. I don't have as much memories as you do, though, but he is definitely one of the greatest commentators that the game has had. And it's been hello, Jez.
Hi, Jez. Welcome.
And it's really terrible news. The sport. Football has had a bit of a terrible week with the loss of various commentators. First Dickie Davis, and now John Motson. It's really, really sad, and my thoughts obviously go out to John Motson's family. It's really horrible to hear, and John Motson was an excellent commentator.
But it's a very, very much one of the very best in the business. He's going to be soundly missed, absolutely, and his memories will live on. That's for sure, certain, especially with the medium that we're broadcasting on here, YouTube. I mean, I've had a good look back and stuff over the last couple of days. And it's so nice to bring up and have a look at. And hearing so many journalists, you'll see it all over the platforms talking about their experiences with him personally. So I'll leave that for everyone else to have a look at. But that's really where I wanted to start. And as Jez has put up in the comments there, and you pop it back up. So Tony Adams, yes, it broke Steve Morris' shoulder. So this was that was the League Cup final. Morrow, an unlikely goal scorer for Arsenal. If you're not aware of this one,
I obviously know who Tony Adams is, but Steve Morrow's I think a bit before my time. I think
so. Steve Morrow's Irishman. He's very much like a versatile sort of player. Happened to be filling in at right back that day, I think, and the goal's actually really well recreated on the old Fantasy Football League. If do you remember that, David Baddiel and Skinner, they got Morrow in, and it's just one of the funniest things. It's still on YouTube. Definitely catch that one. It's really funny. But this is after Morrow scored the unlikely goal, and mid celebration, there's a really funny thing where you got Pat Rice and Martin Keown right in front of him, the incident that happens, getting their picture taken. And there's Tony just lifting him up, and whoop! Oh dear!
tombstoned him.
Basically, all it needed was Jim Ross on commentary saying, "Good God Almighty, he's killed him," and it's just one of them. It's just a great memory. I think we'll sort of wrap up the looking back on that one. Where should we go now? I think we'll go to contract news, shall we?
Okay.
So we'll go for the one that's an actually done deal at the moment. Mo El-Neni. This is going to divide some opinions amongst the fan base, I think.
Yes.
But he is if not the longest serving player in the squad, he's certainly going to be. He and Xhaka are going to be fighting for that honour. He's one of Wenger's signings. Obviously, we know he's out for the season. He's picked up a couple of bad knee injuries over the last little while, and I think it's unlikely that we'll see him for quite a while. I mean, I've read speculation that yes, I think we all love Mo. He's a terrific character. So I've read speculation he might be out to around about November, December time, and he's his Arsenal contract.
Not a bad injury then.
Yeah, well, it's a reoccurred one, isn't it? Remember, he picked up. Didn't he play 90 minutes in a game that we done? Well, it might have been the Brentford game, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
It might have been that one. And he just carried on playing on. Then the news broke that he got injured. He came back. He played, or certainly was on the bench for a little while. Then he got injured again in training.
Yeah.
Now, and just sort of off the top of my head, thinking about what Mikel Arteta has said, I think they feel very highly, about him in the Arsenal dressing room and his character around the place. I've mentioned before that Mo was doing a lot of the, even just after obviously doing his rehab, he's been doing his coaching badges as well, alongside Xhaka and Holding and Cedric Suarez while he was here. He was doing his badges. I think Arsenal obviously think very highly of him and wanted to do the right thing by him by keeping him on the payroll, keeping him amongst the squad. My feeling is he's not going to, even if he recovers from his injury and whatever, I don't think he's going to play him very much. But what I do think he wants to do is build his get his badges done and all that sort of thing, learn his trade that way. He's been with, I think, Jack Wilshere's squad, the under-18s, and who won yesterday. I'm yet to see that cup tie, by the way, but Arsenal kids won at the Emirates yesterday in the Youth Cup. Yeah. So I'm gonna watch that video coming up later on, possibly over the weekend. I think they just wanted him to stay. If he carries on his rehab, they've got a choice of what they want to do with him, don't they? I mean, if he's not going to be able to play until December, we're looking at January transfer window. We'll see how it goes with that one. But what are your thoughts on Mo?
Yeah, I can't see him playing that much next. Obviously, if he is out until November, I think I can see him probably leaving next January, especially if we get another midfielder, such as Declan Rice, if we get him potentially.
Is there another Brighton midfielder you might want to bring up again?
No. Although there's a Brighton midfielder who I've mispronounced a lot. Who I say it's Caicedo. I can pronounce
Has someone pulled you up on that?
I've been saying it as Caicedo for some reason, like he's Italian, but his name is Caicedo. That's how it's pronounced. So
there you go. It's educational, but being on this channel, isn't it?
Yes, but I think we were. I say that because we were more likely to get him than Declan Rice if we were going to get either of the two. But yeah, if we get another midfielder, then I can't really see Elneny featuring in the squad that much, and I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one, this new contract extension, but I suppose I am someone who has been very vocal about the lack of Arsenal squad depth, and it's depth nonetheless, I guess. And Elneny, he's not the, and I'm not being harsh. He's not the greatest player we have in the squad. He's not the best player we have. But yeah, it's depth nonetheless, I guess. And if he's again trying to get his coaching badges, he's being with Jack Wilshere. That's good for him.
Yeah, that's my feeling as well. So that it's about having good characters around the squad as well, and I think he's one of them as well. So it certainly shows the enthusiasm, even being on the sidelines. I think we saw that just recently in a couple of the games where his camera shot to him, and there he is cheering the boys on. So fair play to him. The club's done right by him as far as I'm concerned. So that covers Mo. How about the rumours that I think this Mo? Yes. Any wrestling fans out there? You know what we're talking about. All right. So we're gone from one done deal to one that David Ornstein has brought up over the last is a day or two. We all desperately want Starboy Saka to sign an extension. I believe his current deal runs up not next summer, the summer after, next year. So all he's saying that everything is agreed in principle, I believe, is the phrasing that they're putting at. If they can tie him down for a long-term deal, for me, wages doesn't bother me because
pay him as much as he wants.
Exactly.
Please. Don't be stingy like you do when you're trying to get players. Just pay him as much as he wants. I don't care if you break the bank account. Just pay him. Yeah. It's a sacrifice you're willing to take.
It's a sacrifice. It's a simple word. Sorry, that's a song reference there. Anyway. I I've got to say, so people, the kids coming up from the academy, Hale End Academy, and all that sort of stuff, I have a massive soft spot for. I'm sure all of our viewers and all the subscribers and everyone will have the same affinity with these lads. And I'd much rather, and look, I'm going to sound really old-fashioned, and people say what they like. I'd much rather us put in money in one of our homegrown products, who is, in my view, our world-class midfield player. Absolutely, is miles above. And in terms of look at English, like the whole England player base, if you like, in that England side. He and Rashford are playing some of the best football that they've ever played in, and you have to tie them down. Long-term deal. I'd rather put money in keeping players like Saka in the squad, than taking a bit of a risk on a player or players. So we just say, like, Modric is one that has been spoken about lots and lots on this channel. Slightly different player, I know, but my point's kind of valid. I'd rather have someone who's kind of really made his way in Premier League. He's doing fantastic stuff, and put the money securing him down than taking a risk on someone who's played in a different league, who's not Prem tested, if you like. Go on.
Yeah, we've had some incredible. We have some brilliant players coming in for our youth. I will say, Niall Kane. We talked about El Neni. Good to see you, Niall. By the way, we discussed El Neni just gone. But yeah, we were saying it's a strange one, but he's getting his coaching badges, as Lee was saying. So that's, I guess, the positive there, if he wants to stay for that.
Absolutely. Go back and watch from the start of the stream, Niall, if you want to. I think because we're going to go to sort of moving on from that one.
Arteta press conference reaction. I did not. That's news to me.
I've read the contract. Oh, sorry, I've read the. Sorry, you just put the banner up. So I just.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. It's cool. It's cool. I've read on just about half an hour ago before we went live. I've read the notes on Arsenal.com from the press conference, where basically they talked nothing about the upcoming game, really, which is obviously with the lots of the contract rumours, like Saka on the screen there. There's talk around press about Xhaka getting an extension. There's talk about certainly amongst the fan base and some of the WhatsApp groups. I'm sure you would have seen it, Posh, about Saliba. But anything that's happened sort of other than that, I'm not really quite aware of. So look, that's what the chat's there for. I'd love to see what I might have missed, because I've had a busy day at Tesco Towers today. So, and I've been being a daddy as well. See these eyes? I've not really slept all week, so But I want to make a commitment. We are going to keep on putting live streams out. That's why we are here for you, the people.
Absolutely. But yeah, I really hope that Saka signs that contract. I hope so. If we end up not renewing Saka's contract, I'm going up to the Emirates with my protest signs and everything. He needs to sign for us. I love Saka. He's like my son, and I want him to stay forever.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I want him to be a legend for us. He's already a legend in my heart, but I hope he needs to sign a new contract, please.
Something I didn't pick up on until looking over this week. Did you see him replicate in Thierry Henry's celebration?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
game recognized game.
Yeah, absolutely, and I've said this on other streams as well as ours. For me, I think he understands the club. I think it's in his blood, if you like. And very much a young man who seems so respectful. I have a very, very good memory of him walking up in the stadium at the Emirates, and looking at that beautiful picture of Rocky Road Castle. And I'm sure if Jez is still here, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sure it's like that affinity with that number 7 shirt, and he's a North London boy. He's been at the Arsenal for so long. He is, if you want to do a close comparison there, I tell you what, there's a lot of similarities.
On Saka, Jez says legend, not yet. I hope he gets to that level, though. I hope.
Yeah. What I'm thinking is, you look at the.
But he's one of my favourite players for Arsenal at the moment.
And I think, he's at quite a high level for me. And that level is only going to get higher and higher if we keep on progressing in the way that we have done just of late. We'll talk about that word legend, if you like. Well,
yeah.
I mean, at the very least, right? If we're coming out of this season, Champions League football next season, we haven't seen that in a long time. It'll be really, really interesting. Yeah. It'll be really, really interesting to see the likes of the young talent amongst our squad, how the likes of Saka and Martinelli and Jesus and the likes will compare at that very highest level. And who
Saka has, you could argue, Saka has proven himself like that because he's done it on the world stage for England.
Very much so.
In the Euros. So I do hope he takes the Champions League very well, if we qualify, that is, which I think we will.
I think we're kind of safe and say if we qualify. If nothing else, people could just clip what we just said there, and they can just throw it on any platform they want. They can just laugh at us. So they could just.
If I say it, then I'll probably curse the team now.
Yeah. Well, we know what they can do. They can. They like mocking up Emery's face with the clown thing, right? They could just do that for me. That'd be fine.
They'll make us look like Doink.
Doink. Hang on.
Doink and Dink again.
You know what to do. Ready? 1, 2, go.
Right.
Good lad.
Brainwash the chat now. But I think
they know us, mate.
Yeah, Saka, I think, can prove himself in the Champions League. He's done it on the world stage for England in very big games. Martinelli, he's played for Brazil in the World Cup, but very little though. But I think Saka can do it just fine. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I hope I hope he signs for us though. Please.
I
want my son to stay at the club.
Yeah, I get you. Right, I think we've probably moved on, ladies and gentlemen, to the main event of the evening. Rather big game tomorrow in the Midlands against Leicester City after our victory at Villa Park last week, which wasn't stressful in any way, shape or form.
Definitely not. It didn't make you lose your hair.
Didn't it just? I just woke up the next morning and geez, it just... gone. It's terrible for me. Anyway,
if we end up having a game like that again, you'll end up looking like Simon Miller.
Why?
Why? Arsenal stress. That's why.
The chat's going to be like, what? But we'll talk football now, I promise. Yeah. So after Saturday's game, I think probably the best thing I want to ask, or first thing I want to ask is, would you make changes to that starting 11 from last week?
Well, there's a bit of a discussion over the potential of Thomas Partey in the squad. There's rumor and innuendo, as they say, that Partey is fit. And it's quite touch and go. Villa first half wasn't great, was it? No, it wasn't, Jez. It was.
It's never in doubt, Jez. I don't know what you mean.
Oh, no, it's bringing back memories. But yeah, I think Partey. I know people might say, "Oh, maybe don't start him. Bring him on the bench, off the bench in the second half if he's not entirely fit." You could see in the Villa game how different and how much slower we were, and I said this on Jez's channel when I was invited on it. When Partey wasn't there, I said it on our show as well on Monday. Jorginho is good, Don't get me wrong. I think he has been good for us, but he's not Thomas Partey. He doesn't offer the strength and the pace that Partey has, and we were a very much more slower and completely different team without him. It really does depend on his fitness. If it's 50-50, then I would probably have him as a sub and bring him on in the second half.
That sounds like a good strategy to me.
Take him on for Xhaka probably, and Partey and Jorginho will be interesting. You've got a player with Partey, strength, more creativity, pacier. Jorginho could I think maybe better than Partey at putting some balls into the box, but slower. It'll be an interesting combination to witness. Partey and Jorginho, I think.
Do you know what? You're the first person to bring that combination up in all the streams I've been watching over the last week. So I think that's an interesting point of view, and I quite like it. My kind of thoughts are with this one. I think much like you say, if I would start probably with Partey on the bench, and if we don't need to bring him on, I probably wouldn't, because there's two reasons that. If we pick up another...
Depends on the scoreline, really.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But if he picks up another injury with all the games that are coming up really soon, bear in mind, we've got a midweek coming up this week.
Yeah.
I think, isn't it the rearranged Everton game? I think.
Might.
As my broadcast colleague will double check that, but I believe it's the rearranged, without having the fixture list in front of me.
Yes.
7:45. 7:45. Right. So with that coming up very soon, this is going to be. Do you know what? This is going to be the same for everybody. But we pick up a major injury like that, if we rush him too soon, and he's going to be out. Say he's out for another 4 weeks, say a month, whatever. And in that period, we'll have all them Premier League big games that we need to talk about. Obviously, Man City coming up again. I mean, that's not
Europa League as well. Like, we've got a lot of fixtures coming up, and again, I'm going to mention it. That's why January should have been more successful, because our squad is very small.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, at least we were able to get Jorginho in that window. I think
Trossard as well. Let's not forget.
Well, I was going to get to Trossard in a minute, because if we absolutely. We'll move on to Trossard, because I think we've had the debate with Partey. I would be thinking, and you all know that I love Eddie Nketiah, and I get stick for it, and you know what, fair, it's fine, because. I love the fact that we have discussions on this channel and whatnot, but I would probably...
The moment you said, I love Eddie Nketiah,
I saw it. I saw it.
You're looking at our view account, and it's fair to say, the moment you said, I love Eddie Nketiah.
They're back. They're back.
Oh.
Welcome, everybody.
You're all we have.
Yeah. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.
Yes, please.
But what I was going to say is that look what. So Martinelli didn't play the last game. He was rested, and Trossard had to start. I do believe you, young man, might have said, around the 60-minute mark, something on Twitter about the.
Yeah, I said we're 5 minutes away from Martinelli on for Trossard.
Oh, hello, Red Devil. Welcome back. Devil was in the he was in the chat when we had Matt on the other day.
Man United beat Barca, who beat Madrid by 3 goals and are league leaders. Yes, I take it by the name Red Devil. You are a Man United fan. That was a great win for you yesterday. I've got a friend who supports Man United, and I often talk to him a lot about United. So yeah, very, very good win for you.
We'll stick a pin on that right now, because we're talking about the Leicester versus Arsenal game. Yeah. We are going to get to the Europa League and the draw very soon. As soon as we've sort of gone through what we're talking about with the team news and changes and stuff. So as I was saying, So Martinelli was dropped for Trossard, and then obviously they made the switch, and then Martinelli scores that hilarious goal, which I can't stop watching on various platforms, where we see Vieira and KT celebrating on the halfway line.
Do you know what I said on Jez's channel? If
I saw the whole thing.
If it was Eddie Nketiah going 1-on-1 on that fourth goal, he would have skied over the bar.
Well, and that would have been on him, wouldn't it? This is the argument I was having about the Egbon Lahore thing, when he was saying like, he didn't like it, he didn't like the celebration, whatever, prior to putting the ball in. That would have been on him. I've seen many a time when rugby players, and it's not my sport, so I do whatever. But if someone sort of got on a counter attack, they sort of go, try to ground the ball, and it's not happened. So it would have been on him. So Martinelli got his goal with Emi helpfully being out the goal, right?
Yeah, Arsenal legend Emi Martinez.
I'm going to start coughing in a minute, so I'm going to have to be careful here. So, excuse me. So my thoughts were Eddie should probably be on the bench on this one, and I'd probably play Trossard down the middle with Martinelli on one side and Saka on the other, which also leaves a lot of room for them to go and move about a little bit and hopefully confuse the Leicester defence a little bit. What do you think to that one? I've got to mute myself, mate, because I'm going to struggle a little bit here. I can't even see the mute button. I'm going to take the phone up. Right. Take it, mate.
Okay, so it'll be interesting to see who starts, if it's Trossard or Saka, or Trossard or Martinelli, or Martinelli or Saka. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But I think Martinelli should probably start. I think he's got a lot more momentum against than he did against Villa. That's what I think.
How funny that Red Devils should say, "Can Arsenal win the league, or will they choke?" As I just have a coughing.
And here you go. Here you go. End up.
I mean, he put the hoodoo sign on. Say that one.
Yes. Can Arsenal win the league, or will they? I hope they can. Obviously, as an Arsenal fan, it's still a long way to go in the season. We've proven that we can drop points, sadly. It's going to be close to call. Is Arteta a good manager, or other big teams having a good season? Arteta has proved me wrong this season. He has definitely... He is, obviously, you've seen on the touchline, a certain man who I can't mention, otherwise the power goes out of my house, doesn't like the fact Arteta is passionate on the touchline. I like Arteta's passion. He clearly wants us to do well. He believes we can win the league, and I think, as I've said before, he wants us to improve. He wants to improve our squad and wants to sign decent players in January. We've just got Edu holding us back as a very poor negotiator, in my view.
I was just going to say,
I hope we can win the league.
These are the views of Bertie and not Gooner Gathering.
I hope we can win the league, but I think the lack of squad depth might be a big issue for us.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to say here.
And you know what? As we said before we went on air, I got a couple of notes written to my left right now, but I'm quite flexible in how we do things. And as Red Devil has been so kind to join us again today, and believe me, it's really appreciated. I think it's probably a good time to mention that United come into some real serious form, right? Yeah. Particularly Ronaldo's left, and all of a sudden the other players that are still at the club have been absolutely outstanding. Look at Marcus Rashford in probably the form of his life. I gave Jason
people
Sancho,
are saying Ballon d'Or contender.
Yeah, absolutely right. And all Sancho's come back to the squad over the last couple of games. He's finding the net as well. That United are finding some serious form, and the way this Premier League it is so difficult to call, and each Premier League game is so difficult. You can't rule United out for leading their choice to the title as well.
I think they are title contenders. I think.
Dangerous team to
like
go.
We could still come third. Man City could come third. Ten Hag has done very well for you. Ever since you got rid of Ronaldo. Funny that.
Exactly. It'll be interesting to know
Sorry, Fran.
Red Devils.
I know she likes Ronaldo.
Yeah, absolutely. We can't, disrespect Ronaldo's talent and how many goals he scored and all that sort of thing. But unfortunately, it all ended a bit stale. And some of the United fans that I talk to find, there's a bit of a bitter taste in their mouth, much like when Aubameyang left Arsenal. It's a similar situation where egos sort of rise and they think they're rather better than they might be actually are. But that's neither here nor there. It's the United of now are a dangerous opponent. You can't rule them out from doing anything. They've got their cup final, the League Cup final on Sunday against Newcastle.
Absolutely. Played, of course, at Wembley Stadium, so about a 10-minute drive for most Man United fans.
Oh, you had to get it in there, didn't you? You are a naughty boys there. But we can touch on the League Cup final a little bit if you like. It's going to be. There's two things I'll touch on in this one, and it's the fact that now I haven't seen United against Barcelona from last night because I do not have the TV channel relevant. Although when I get a moment over this weekend, that's something I want to catch as well. I did see Rashford's Instagram post about him being injured and with the little emoji going on. Now, is this a serious worry for United fans? Devils in the chat. Maybe if you could answer that as well, that'd be good. But or they playing little mind games.
Was it mind games?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's serious or not. I didn't see the injury or what happened, but from what I hear, it might not be that serious. I think he might end up starting on the Sunday. There's a lot can happen in a day, so
yeah,
I don't know.
And the other point I'll bring up for this cup final is, of course, that Newcastle have got a real issue in the goalkeeping department. So Nick Pope got sent off for the handball outside the penalty area, preventing a clear goal scoring opportunity against Liverpool. And all of a sudden that's happened. And because Nick Pope's supposedly a nice guy and a good goalkeeper, which he is, there's pundits come in and say, it shouldn't really be a red card and everything, but it should be. And if
Dubravka's cup tied
is where I was going next, because Dubravka came off the bench and actually played pretty well, actually, but leave some rather short in terms of a goalkeeper for Sunday.
The most memorable player in the 2018 Champions League final, for all the wrong reasons, is the Newcastle keeper, which makes me think United will win it, even without Rashford.
I think United probably could win it with their eyes closed. But sorry, any Magpie fans around who are watching us, it's just my view. I'm a Nick Pope, such a huge figure in goal. He's a great goalkeeper, and he certainly frustrated us when we played them at the Emirates the other month. I guess it must be now. The time's just what's that these days? I don't know. But you think they'll go for Karius to goal, do you? And not
the only goalkeeper they have, I think.
I think they do have another one, but his name somewhat has escaped me at the moment, mainly because of Karius's big, stature in that Champions League. And of course, there's another one. Dunlow, I believe, is out on loan.
Cole Darlow, he's loaned.
That's the other name I do know off the top of my head, and I don't think there's a recall option on him, which is a bit of a shame for him. But so you fancy United to win on Sunday, right?
I think that's the best bet. Should we talk about Arsenal again?
We will do.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make our chat feel welcome, and like I said, I'm very flexible on how we do this show. So I think as we were talking Arsenal. We're talking about starting lineups. The other thing I might have changed, and this was very much up for debate on the other show you did, was the form of Zinchenko. I'd probably go with KT this weekend. I'm going to
Yep.
excuse me.
Yep, I agree with you. Yes, Zinchenko did score against Aston Villa. I understand that, but I think overall, I think he did not have his best game, and of course, he was anyway responsible for the first goal. He gave the ball away, and I think he's not been in the best of form in a few games. Yes, apart from the goal he scored, but it's a strange one. I probably start Kieran Tierney. I think we need a bit more of a defensive option. Zinchenko, I think he's more of a midfielder than left back, if I'm honest, and he just drifts into midfield, leaving the left side completely empty almost. So I think we need a bit of reassurance in our defence. So I'd go with Kieran Tierney, especially when you got players like. Although James Maddison might be injured, we don't know, but apparently. But
I heard that rumor.
Yeah, although we don't. When you got James Maddison, Jamie Vardy, Iheanacho, like a lot of very fast players, a lot of capable players that can go into the box and score. I think we do need a bit more defensive options, and I think Tierney should start.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with that. We'll talk a little on the other side on our opponents. So I think we've pretty much covered what we think of the Arsenal side. Tielemans played 30 minutes last week after recovering from an injury. Bit of talk about former Arsenal target. Do you remember this one?
Yes.
Johnny Evans is who I'm talking about.
Yes.
I threw you a curveball, just like in Pokemon. Johnny Evans could feature, as could Ryan Bertrand, who's had a bit of a. I actually kind of forgot he was over there at Leicester. Actually,
yes, I know Ryan Bertrand.
Yeah,
Chelsea
formerly of Southampton
player, Southampton player.
Yeah. Other one is out. Is a definite out. James Justin, a very talented fullback who can play either side. Who. There would be a video somewhere on Cannon Chatter's files where I'd rather like him down at the Arsenal. That was a little while ago before he's picked up a rather nasty.
I think I mentioned months ago I would have liked to see Tielemans at Arsenal. So
my feeling on that one that one's probably passed for me.
I know, but it was those months ago. We mentioned it at the same time. I think around
absolutely.
that same time.
Leicester are looking for only their 4th win at home. They've only had three wins out of 11
I didn't
games.
know that, actually.
Someone's been doing their homework.
Yeah.
But their last time they played at the King Power was when they hilariously beat Tottenham 4-1.
Okay. And that was recently, though, so they might have some home form back.
Exactly. And this is what I was going to say, that Premier League, although sometimes teams in that sort of area of the field or at the table, I should say, might not be in the best of form. Anyone could beat anyone. That's why I think a solid.
You've seen this season how unpredictable the Premier League is.
Precisely, and that's why I'd like to see a proper fullback, as in Kieran Tierney, play.
Yeah.
Just to try and make sure we are that little bit more solid and make sure we don't get off to a start like we did last Saturday. We do have a good record up there at King Power. We've got 3 successive wins up that way. Do you remember the game last season?
I remember the game last season. I remember Ramsdale's magnificent save. I believe it was from a free kick.
Yeah.
And that was when I thought we've got ourselves a talented keeper on our hands.
For extra bonus points, do you remember who scored for us? And do you remember the score?
It was 2-0. I know the score line. Did Lacazette score?
In the season beforehand. The season beforehand he did, yes.
Oh, okay. So the season before.
Yeah.
Okay. But who was it last season? My mind goes
Gabriel and ESR were on the score sheet.
Oh, okay.
Win. The season beforehand, you mentioned Lacazette scored. Arsenal cancelled out Tielemans' opener by David Luiz, of all people. Lacazette.
Blimey.
Remember Nicola Pepe?
I do, yes.
Yeah, he was on the score sheet that day as well. So, so the obvious question to ask now, Posh, is: am I going to lose all my hair, or is it going to be nice, easy game?
It's Arsenal. There's no such thing as nice, easy games.
True.
I think Leicester are a team that can cause trouble. You've seen it against Tottenham. They're a team that can easily cause problems against the bigger teams at their home ground. They caused their problems for us last season, even though we did win. They did play quite well.
Yeah. Good football inside, aren't they? When they're on their date.
Yeah, Jamie Vardy, Iheanacho, James Maddison if he's fit.
Yeah,
they got some good players going forward, and Tielemans as well in midfield. And I think their weak point is the goalkeeper
and defence.
Yeah. We've got a very confident fan here saying Arsenal 4, Leicester 1.
Hello, Spencer. Welcome.
I hope that's the scoreline. I hope we can play that well. It is going to be tough. And of course, we can't mention Leicester City without mentioning the fact
Brendan Rodgers.
Every time it's not a chat-along game though, sadly. But
no,
we have a thing where every time we mention, well, not every time, but most of the time we talk about Brendan Rodgers when we're watching an Arsenal match. We end up scoring a goal. I believe you have a compilation video in the works.
I have it in the intro. I'm going to see if I can process it either tonight or tomorrow. But if I'm at, well, probably be as I'm at work, I would imagine. So Nketiah gets 2 goals finally. I hope so because I haven't been able to take him out my fantasy football side. Although I did say I'm not gonna contradict myself. I did say I would play old Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka. So we'll see.
Yeah,
but
I'd have
I'll take
Trossard up front, Martinelli, Saka on the wings. That's what I would do.
And I'll say this as well. Spencer is a new name in the chat for me, so welcome into Gooner Gathering. Hope you're well and hope you found us. Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Yes. On the road to 100. So welcome in and thank you for finding us. So did you hit me with the score prediction?
Yeah, he said
No.
Okay.
You.
I think it's going to be 3-1 to Arsenal. And for scorers, I think Martinelli will get 1 or maybe 2. I think Trossard, if he plays or if he comes off the bench, will get a goal. And I don't know, Martinelli, Trossard, and I want to say Nketiah. I want to, but I don't know. I want to say Nketiah just for the banter, so I'll go for Nketiah.
So Rosette is in trouble. Nketiah in the room.
Our attack is in trouble at the moment.
This is true. Do you know one player we haven't mentioned at being the attack is Jesus? And
I don't think he'll be available for that game. I don't think he's ready yet.
No, he's not. But Arteta's saying that he's looking pretty good in training, and he's sort of breaking them sort of boundaries a little bit and trying to getting him ready. So hopefully he'll be ready to play quite soon. So
I hope so. We need a bit of creativity up front, as I always say with Jesus. He offers that.
Yeah. Well, if we're going to play predictions, I'm going to go with the 2-0 Arsenal win, and Arsenal being Arsenal, I'd like to hope that we'll have a solid or more solid first half and maybe goals in the second half. I predict from a set play as well. And I'll go Gabriel for the first goal scorer.
Nice, yes. A classic Gabriel set piece like we saw early on in the season. Remember, don't aim for Leno.
Absolutely.
Jesus with the hold-up play, definitely missed that. And I hope he comes back soon. It's looking like it.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to need him soon as well. Like I said, with the fixtures piling up as they're going to, and with the Europa League coming back very soon as well. Yeah, we are going to need the players, the absolute, the established players in the squad. I know we've had a lot of youth players, younger players on the bench.
Mm.
You know, we're at that sort of stage. We definitely need the experience now, don't we?
Mm.
So, and talking of the Europa League, we've had the draw today for that competition. Now, if I had a little bit more time, and if my PC worked properly, I'd have a lovely little graphic for you all. But I don't. So I've got my clipboard. So I'm going to tell you what we've got. If I can find it, there it is. So, Sporting Lisbon against the Arsenal. So what are your thoughts on Sporting?
Interesting. I don't know how they're doing in the Portuguese league. It's not something I keep up on.
No.
But obviously they have a former Arsenal player in their squad who I'm sure we will get to.
As soon as you like, mate.
You know my thoughts on that player and how well he did.
Mr. Bellerin.
Well, in the last few years anyway.
Yeah.
I think if we turn up, it's going to be, they're a tough team, but I think we can do it. We can get through that.
Yeah. I mean, Bellerin versus Martinelli sounds an interesting competition, doesn't it?
Well, if Bellerin turns up instead of focusing on how good his hair looks, I think it'll be interesting to see how the game goes.
I'm not one to give hair advice, to be fair. But Hector Bellerin, 44 in the Arsenal care.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I when he broke into the Arsenal side, I thought this kid's got a lot of potential.
Well.
Yeah, I mean he supported the play really well. He's so quick, but we mentioned about Zinni not being the best defender.
Yeah,
that's.
I don't want Zinchenko to go the Bellerin route. I don't want Zinchenko. I don't think he will. But Bellerin, I think. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see him play against us.
Okay, so I'm just seeing a goal update in tonight's game. I think is that an equaliser? Do you want to have a quick look at that?
I'll have a look at the old Sky Sports. It's 1-1 Fulham Wolves.
Oh, I thought it was.
Sarabia got the Wolves goal, and Solomon for Fulham.
That's literally just happened, I think. So 1-1 at the moment. So that's 2 clean sheets in my defence gone in the FPL. The knee injury has really hurt Bellerin's career. Yes, it did. And, he might have lost that little bit of pace, which he was so good at doing with the recovery run for me. I won't ever forget the pace he showed. And there's a goal against Liverpool as well he scored, which he was absolutely brilliant on his wrong foot as well. But like you mentioned, mate, it all went a little bit wrong after that. And he's had a spell at Barcelona, and now he's over at Sporting. Talking of Barcelona, and we mentioned this earlier on, they got knocked out by Man United, and United's prize is Real Betis.
They can get through that.
I think they probably can.
I'm hoping. Go on.
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'm hoping for Arsenal Man United Europa League final.
And as I said,
I know it'll be a tough fixture, but I'm hoping it can happen. I want to see it.
I invited my friend Jack, who's he may be watching us at some stage. I hope he is. I said he works in the warehouse, we worked in the .com warehouse, and he's a driver. So he's a United fan, and I'd love to have him on. We'll do the chat along together, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Other noticeable ties, I suppose. Shakhtar Donetsk against Feyenoord, Roma against Real Sociedad, Leverkusen against a team I don't really know very much about, but Fenerbahce or something. I'm not quite sure on pronunciation. And there's a clash of the unions as well. Union Bellerin against Union
Berlin.
Union Berlin against Union Saint Gilossi.
Ferencvaros is the team Leverkusen are facing. And Union Berlin versus Union SG.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, your thoughts on the draw in general? I was thinking because it is Lisbon, Portugal. not a lot of travelling to do. That could have been a lot worse.
Okay.
But so this competition is a little bit unpredictable. It's also I've seen some fans saying, "Oh, maybe Arsenal should go quite, with sort of, should we call them backup players in this competition?" What are you thinking on this one?
I heard a lot of I heard and somebody said it on Wednesday, saying he's heard a lot of Arsenal fans saying, "Oh, we should not care about the Europa League, so we can focus on the title." No, I want to go through. I want to progress to the Europa League final.
I agree.
I want to. It's a competition. I think we could. Yeah, I just want to see us progress. But yeah, I think it's a tough one because we've not got enough squad depth. But yeah, I think we will end up having to rotate players, obviously. That's where we'll see the likes of Fabio Vieira starting, maybe.
Exactly, and that there are other players
there as well,
who does need to get some game time at some stage. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'd imagine ESR was on the bench the other day, wasn't he?
Yeah,
so
he didn't come on though. But I hope he's on the bench again. He comes on tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see how the game goes. As I said, the games are coming thick and fast. I've not heard anything, so I'm hoping he kind of got through the warm down on the session. He would have got through training, and hopefully he can get his season up and running, because he was so influential, especially sort of coming off the bench last season. Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice just to see that happen a little bit more, and perhaps lead us to some exciting times ahead? Right. Other than that, Posh, I think so. We've covered the Europa League. We've covered
the training video. Says Spencer. Okay.
Be like,
ESL will be like a new signing.
That'll cliche.
I said that about Saliba.
Yeah, kind of. No, it's right though.
I wonder if we'll say that about Balogun next season if he plays for us. Well, he's been very good in the French league.
He's right up there, isn't he, on the top scorers? But that'll be another debate to have for another time, I think, Posh.
Yeah.
So before I have another coughing fit, because I need to eat something and go to bed quite soon, I believe, shall we give out the old socials and stuff?
Absolutely. So where's the... Okay. So you can follow me on Twitter at Posh Bertie. I'm also on Instagram at Bertie Wanless. And is Lee well enough to do his socials?
I can do it, mate. Okay. Absolutely. You can find me at Gooner Lee Meads on Twitter. You can also find me on TikTok. It's Lee Meadows 501 currently, although I may change that around to the branding at some stage. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed our stream, even if you're watching live or if you're watching it all on the catch up. Cheers everyone for being here and watching our stream, whatever platform you're on, and we'll see you on the other side. Take care all. See you later.